Hey, y'all. So I am super excited about today's chat. I actually have a little over listener. You can't see her. She's off screen, but she is here today. You can holler. They'll pick you up. Say, hey, there you go. When you send your kids to private school, I'm telling you, they never go. It's not even private school, even public school. What is this half day? This half day thing where they're just with you all the time. Secretly, I love it though, because I only have 6 more summers until she's 18. So it's a blessing to get that extra time. But she is here today, and it's a good chat for her to be here for because I want to talk about what's happening on the internet. I know I'm not the only one. Raise your hand if you feel like the internet has gotten a lot meaner in the last 5 years. Am I right? Yeah, you can't see. She's giving us a hand raise, right? The internet's gotten meaner, and it's part of why we don't have our little one on the internet. She's aware of it. She interacts with it, with supervision and definitely through her friends, because they tell her about TikTok. She's witnessed bullying situations. But, we have a pretty strict rule, and we've had it for all three of our girls, that you don't get to touch the internet until you're at least 16. And that's limited until you get older. So the reason why is because mommy's on the internet and mommy works there, and it can get real icky. And I think a lot of us realize this. So I'm wondering if this message might be reaching you where you either A, are on the internet regularly. Maybe you work in social media. Maybe it's part of your business, or you interact heavily, like you consume a lot and you've witnessed a lot of crazy stuff, right? Or you're someone who wants to be and is interested in either starting a business or doing influencer work or even just engaging with people online, whether it's reporting pop culture, whatever, but you're kind of scared because you've seen the madness. Let me tell you a little about what I mean. So, I've been on the internet now for almost 20 years, maybe a little longer than that. I know that sounds like forever, and it is. Okay. She is a seasoned chicken, not a spring chicken. But I remember when the internet was just Facebook, right? It was Facebook and, MySpace and a couple forums. And there wasn't as much engagement. Social media was pretty limited to only being social with the people you knew. So if someone followed you on a platform like Facebook or Instagram or Instant Messenger, that is super throwback. If you know, you know, they were someone you knew. You had to give them your information for them to even find you. You approved them, and that was that. It wasn't necessarily a platform to unify you and the rest of the world. It was a platform that deepened relationships and eased communication between you and people who already knew you. So it gave more text message vibes with the ability to, like, send more photos and let people keep up with what you had going on. I kind of miss those days, right? Like when I look back on it, I'm like, man, it was really nice when you knew everyone on the other side. Now, granted, the expansion of what we're able to do on social has become a beautiful thing because one, I have relationships and friendships and people that have come into my world exclusively because of social media. And I'm so thankful for it because I don't even know where I'd be without that. Shout out to my girl squad, Jen, Nikki, and Jada, right? It's incredible what social media has done. And furthermore, on the other side of it, because of social media, I've been able to reach people that I never would have been able to reach before and, make an impact. And that is beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm just so thankful that God's even used me that way. So, and that includes you, right? Being able to chat through this podcast, but also being able to, chat via Instagram and via books and everything. It's just been magnificent. But over these past 20 years, particularly in the last 5 years, I really feel like the tone of the internet as a, space where the intention is for us to learn more and meet more people and widen, our knowledge of others' lifestyles and engagement has become less around a positive curiosity. And I'm starting to see more of a negative, judgmental attitude. Let me tell you more about what that means. The internet is still overwhelmingly good. I do think it is still a net positive. Overall, when I look at my comments, my DMs, my emails, any interaction that I have with you or anyone else, it is easily 99% positive. And I'm so thankful for that because I do have a lot of friends in this space that are high profile, anyone from Academy Award winners to New York Times bestsellers. I'm very fortunate to know some incredible women. And when I tell you some of the things that I have seen land in their inbox or things that I've seen myself in their comments, I'm just floored that people would even fix their faces to say stuff like that to them. Right. But I want to talk about one, the reality of it, how we got there, and some changes that I'm making to not just make sure that I'm protected, but that my children are protected from seeing their mother exposed to certain things, and then also not feeding into certain behaviors. But I also want to, share that information with you to let you know it's a journey, and we all have to make choices for ourselves, and also to never cower, in the face of evil. And negativity, because we still are expected to be as great as we can be. And, this chat, I'd like to say, is sponsored by a phrase that my mom used to tell me all the time. Today is actually Ghana's Independence Day. Shout out, to Ghana. And my mom always used to tell me, you are an African, not an Africant. Okay. So I am not going to let anybody keep me from being great, okay? Because I can do it, okay? It's in the name, it's in the bloodline, and the same thing applies to you. You're an American, not an Americant. So that being said, I want you to take this into context, but don't let it keep you from the things that give you joy. So not too long ago, I shared and posted a big win, a big joyful moment, a big, moment of celebration for our family and welcoming our newest family member, Josie. Sweet Josephine is, in the world. I've been sharing, that birth story. You can hear about it later, in other episodes. But when I tell you, when I post things transparently, when I post things on social, because I come from the time where social was just to your friends, I literally feel like I'm either FaceTiming a friend, texting a friend. I'm just updating y'all. I'm like, hey, cousins, hey, sis, let me tell y'all what this baby just did. Or let me tell you how this kid did this thing. That is the energy with which I post. There is a huge discrepancy from people who I think are newer to my social media that when I post stuff, I make money from it, like right away. Like they think, oh, she posts something so that she can make millions of dollars. I want to tell you, that's not the case for a lot of us, right? And you usually don't get paid off the personal stuff you post. You usually get paid off of like partnerships, brand deals, links, whatever else. I also am not like, I always joke I'm the, worst influencer of all time. I only post stuff I really care about. I'm not sitting here working some hacked out strategy. All my money does not come from my social media, right? It is definitely under leveraged, and I'll be the first to say that. I really do just use it as a way to interact with y'all. And so saying this, it's actually kind of funny because, when I share big milestone moments like my wedding or like, our sweet baby coming into the world, it's really just an update to people who've been here the whole time saying like, y'all, let's have a party and be happy because something amazing happened. Well, because the internet's the internet, somebody always got to say something. And, I'm not going to name drop her because I always, I try to be nice. She was nasty to me privately. If she had done this publicly, I would say her name. Just context for everyone in case people are ever wondering. I'm not big on doxing people. I'm not big on blowing up people's spots because I recognize that I do have the platform. But best believe if you come to my public platform and you are publicly nasty, I will publicly respond to you, right? And if anyone ever says anything about my kids, whether it's privately or publicly, then like it's all bets off, So just so if people ever wonder what to expect from me, like I'm nice and I'm friendly, but I do have my limits and my boundaries. And so that being said, this person, I think they thought they were sharing and they know who they are. And I imagine they hate follow me or, hate listen. So I really hope that they hear this and recognize that it's like a valuable teaching experience. But in any case, they meant to share my information, I guess my post with like a friend or something like that. Or maybe they were looking to post it or repost it, but they accidentally sent me the message. And the message was something to the effect of, she legitimately had a baby and got married just for content because her whole business is failing. Now, y'all, trust and believe. I am not so naive as to think that I have over 1 million followers online and that they're all my greatest fans who love and adore me, right? That they wish me well and that they celebrate my every moment. Heck no, right? I know for a fact that there is always a silent minority out there that literally are just watching you to pick apart what you do or to have something nasty to say or to massage their own insecurities or to just criticize you for entertainment because for some reason they 100% believe that it is an appropriate form of entertainment to just talk badly about someone. Like it's baffling to me. It's like baffling and unstable, right? But that exists, right? And so I'm not surprised that that's the case. What blew my mind about this is one, Black woman. Like right out the gate, we are so criticized by society. We are so criticized everywhere else. It blows my mind that one Black woman tears apart another Black woman. Like it is just like, it just blows my mind because we've all been through it without question. So it just is shocking to me that we would ever add or pile on. Two, this person was a therapist. Yes, a therapist for children and a therapist for people who have gone through trauma. And they felt it appropriate while a woman is in postpartum to talk about them this way. Yikes. Lastly, ain't God grand? It came right to me. And anyone who follows me online knows, much like the Queen Tabitha Brown, I will gracefully read you like I own a franchise of libraries, right? There is no way you're going to come to me with foolishness and think I won't say something back, right? And I will turn you into a teaching opportunity. I will make you into content because if you do bring it to me, I will respond, right? But here's what happens. People love to talk about you and not bring it to you. And that's fine. If you don't want to bring it to me, it's like you don't exist, right? So that's totally fine. But if you're genuinely talking about someone with the intent to help them or to make them better, or because you want to see change in their life, or because you have concern, or because you really feel like what they're doing is inappropriate or wrong, you would go to them and say it, right? Like if you are absolutely worried about someone, like do you sit and talk with your husband about a concern you have around your child, but not seek out a solution or talk to your child about it? Absolutely not. Right? You actually go and approach them. So, people who tend to say nasty things about you on the internet, but don't ever bring it to you are just being nasty. Like they're just finding entertainment in the diminishment of your humanity. Literally, it says so much about them and not you. And I say that just because if anyone's feeling like, oh, this is my worst nightmare, this is why I would never get on the internet, just letting you know, no matter what, it'll happen, right? Like haters will literally see you walk on water and say it's because you cannot swim. Okay, that is the real of it. So just know that's going to happen no matter what. And I use the word haters because even people hear that and they're like, oh, not you have haters. Oh, not you think you're so great, you have haters. Everyone has haters. There could be two people with hot dog stands next to each other and one of them will be like, I don't like the temperature of his hot dog water. Okay, like there are haters. Everyone has a hater, right? If you are doing anything right or anything publicly, you likely have somebody who is looking at what you have, wants what you have, or wants to diminish what you have because they just feel like it, right? So I go to this woman and this is how I've been handling this is if for some reason something does make it across my plate, most of the time it doesn't, I just say something to them. And I simply say, like, why would you say something like that? What was your intent behind that? What are you seeking to do and cause? Are you trying to shame me? Do you want me to feel bad about who I am? Are you judging my body? Like, what is the point of this, right? Like, what is the intent behind what you're saying? When I tell you, and this isn't even like a pretend statistical number, 100% of the time they do not respond. They do not have an answer or they do not have anything to say back. And that leads me to my next point, which is this. I believe the reason why the internet's gotten nastier is that people are not realizing that there are real people on the other side of those screens. They're real. We're not fake people. There's so much of use of the word, oh, they're a fake life or they're inauthentic or whatever we're seeing is played for the cameras or this is curated content. Look, no matter what level of curation you think someone is putting in their life before they put it on the internet, they're still a real human. And one of the things that's happening on the internet that I think is contributing to all of this is we are losing our humanity. We are starting to look at people and consume them as if they are just for our consumption. And we're not actually consuming the content with the intent to better or to find joy or to encourage. And that was the original intent of the internet. Recently, I posted our gender reveal. And our gender reveal, for those who are, want to know a little bit of the background tea, I've known the gender of our baby since 7 or 8 weeks after getting pregnant, which means that for over almost 9 months, I never shared our gender, right? So, again, I typically don't share my timelines because timelines are not people's business, right? And it also allows us to enjoy things because my life is I share my life, for joy, for hope induction, right? I hope I induce hope when people see it. And also because I love checking in and I hear back about your lives too, but I don't share my life to make money, right? Like that's not the intent behind why I share it. So I finally shared my gender reveal. And gosh, I'm really glad I did not share it real time while we were sitting in our super happiness about having a baby girl. Because when I share it, here is the response. Naturally, it shows us cutting this cake open and being really surprised about the outcome. And we are so, so excited about this outcome because we thought we were having a boy. Top to bottom, definitely thought a boy was happening. We included our little one as part of that process, our little one at the time. She's now our middle little one, right? But our little one at the time, she was the only person who got to know the gender. So it was like something really special for her. And so it was a surprise for us. We swore up and down. When I tell you she had us fooled. She was like, is it a boy? Is it a girl? Do you know? Like we thought we were having a boy because we have 3 girls already. When we found out we were having another girl, it floored us. Like we didn't even have a girl name picked, right? Like we had like an idea of a name, but we've been leaning into that this was going to be a boy. So we were on the floor, and that was reflected in this video. If you want to see it, it's on Instagram. You can go see it. When I tell you the number one comment was congratulations, right? It was congratulations, happy for you, because the world is overwhelmingly good. Overwhelmingly good. The second biggest comment was, why are you so surprised? I'm tired of these fake videos. It could only be either a boy or a girl. What is this fake excitement? Sheesh. Sheesh. Can people not be happy in 2025? The world is freaking on fire. Can we not be happy? Like, my goodness. And this idea that people have babies for content, maybe some people do, but this old gal is 40, okay? She is risking her whole life. She is not curating and cooking a baby for clicks, okay? Not at all. And so it's like, and especially in this economy, who's having a baby in this economy, for content? Oh my, you better have a heck of a strategy. These kids are expensive. Do you know how much they eat? The answer is a lot. Okay, a lot. Do you see eggs are $1 each? This is crazy. But so that said, I remember thinking to myself, I'm shocked sometimes at people's responses when I post, because I post with the intent of like, how cool and fun is this? Let's all be excited and happy. And literally to have someone say that, it was just like, what's happening? So, I look at this and it's surprising to me because this was not the vibe. What I tell you, for those of you who are new to the internet, because a lot of you just started being content creators in like 2020 during pandemic. And I can tell you, like, it was not always like this. It wasn't always like this. It literally used to be that you would post something and people like, wow, this is great. Thank you for being helpful. This is useful. And all of a sudden it's become like nasty pants, where you start seeing still less, there aren't that many negative things, but the level of negativity is wild. So it's this gotcha culture where I really feel like we've gotten to a place where people are looking for the gotcha and we are having a harder time accepting the good. And one, I hope you're not like this, right? And I don't think you are, because like part of why we hang out here is because we are seeking for encouragement. We're seeking positivity. We want to sit in the good. And I want to let you know, if there's me and if there's you, and we're both positive people that are thinking positive things, know that there are lots of us out there and we find each other. So don't withhold your desire to post something amazing on the internet or post your good news, because there are lots of us out there that are encouraged, that are rallying, that are inspired by the things that you share. Your story has value. I can't tell you how many messages I get, and I'm always in my DMs. I'm always responding to y'all. I get so many messages from people who say things like, thank you for sharing your divorce story. I did not comment much during the time you were going through it, but watching you find love again and have a family has helped me get back out there. I actually have a good friend. I'm only going to share her first name because it won't dox her, but her name is Liz and she knows who she is. She listens to the episode, but we have been talking in the DMs for probably 4 years now. And she went through her own hard breakup and her own hardship. And she recently got married. So congratulations and shout out. And she sent me her wedding pictures in the DMs, and I've been cheering her on all along the way. And her new relationship is a beautiful one, but we've talked about how hard that is. And there's another person, Ashley, who we're, in the DMs who, you know, is getting married, married to her wife, and the love of her life. And she's been through, a really difficult, go of it. And we've been in the DMs cheering each other on. And there's just countless yous out there, where we have been cheering each other on. But if I chose not to share that I was going through this, and be open and vocal about it as God, called me to, I can't imagine how lonely it can be. And this is the joy of the internet. This is the good part, and not realizing you're not going through it alone. I have my own people, and I guess I'll, be transparent about this. Jen Hatmaker, she's a personal friend. I know her, but in watching her share the way that she went through her divorce, which was a couple years before me, and what she decided to share and what she didn't decide to share, because she didn't share everything, and then finding a new love. And she is still so in love and in this relationship. It's been years now. And, watching her relationship of over a decade, not be what she thought it would be. I mean, watching her survive that and then come out glowing and successful and happy and well loved and getting the love she deserves. When I tell you, it fueled me whenever I had those moments where I thought, could this happen for me? And the ability to be able to share that as well, with all of you has been a blessing, but it has these moments, where you're like, man, like people can be really nasty about it. And, you know, I just want to wrap up with, two messages, right? One, for those of you who are not of that camp, who may be on the receiving end of the nastiness because you guys are either sharing online or wanting to share online, or, those of you who are just out there like, dang, like the internet's wild. I'm just here to be happy. Please keep being you. You don't realize how much, being vocal and kind and supportive helps fuel people who choose to be out there with their messaging because God has granted them a platform to do good. You know, please keep being that person because it's helpful, and it's powerful and it's impactful. And if you have your own story and you're feeling that pull and that tug in your spirit to share that story, please do not hesitate. I can tell you, despite it all, it is overwhelmingly worth it. And while I am being very judicious about what comments I read, and what DMs I engage in, and I've never read like the gossipy things, right? Like I came across them one time and I was like, that is enough of that, and I try not to ever look at those things because they get into your head, but sometimes they show up on your plate. People bring it to you. And, you know, it's unavoidable. If you do big things, you're going to be exposed to big things, right? The Bible says that weapons will form, but it also says it won't prosper. And we get caught up in the won't prosper part where we're like, oh, those weapons won't do anything to me. They will form though. Bad things are going to happen when you're out there doing good stuff because evil doesn't want to see you win, but it doesn't mean that it isn't worthy work to continue trying to win and to keep on winning and doing it publicly. Because every time you win, especially if you're someone who gives God the glory, you are doing something magical that is an elevation of his name and of the goodness in the world. So just keep being loud about your wins and how you're prospering because it's worth it. But for those of you who are out there who are of the other side, where you find yourself looking at people's joy and struggling to either dissect it and wonder, is this joy real, or struggling and finding yourself saying, I don't feel good about the joy that I'm seeing. And my response to this is I want to say something negative, or somebody who has found yourself caught up in gossip culture, which is very much a thing where it's all about spilling the tea or finding out something nasty about someone else and then spreading that around, and you find yourself in spaces where the only unifying relationship you have with those people is that you're talking nasty about someone else. I just really encourage you to examine how that might be impacting you. One, in terms of time, right? What could you be doing with that time if you aren't spending it doing this, right? There's that. And then two, how is that helping your spirit? And is that something that is really something that's beneficial to the common good? I find myself, granted, I only really talk to my family, like I'm not really out there like me, my kids will tell you all the time, like I have my handful of friends, and that's pretty much it. And then I'm with my family most of the time, and outside of that, I talk to y'all like the internet aunties and, I'm in the DMs cheering you on. So I don't really have negative spaces where, they exist solely for the intent to be negative. But I've also intentionally tried to curate that. And I want to encourage you, if you find yourself in those spaces, trying to find spaces that are not like that, and then really examining how your life might improve when you aren't in those spaces. And then lastly, if you're saying to yourself that no, the reason why you are in those spaces, the reason why you find yourself in gossip culture is because you are genuinely concerned or you want a place to discuss, an area of worry. I have to tell you, if you're genuinely concerned about someone's well-being and the criticism you have is well-intentioned, because that's also a thing, right? Like, the Bible says about being your brother's keeper. If you genuinely have concern about someone's life and direction, if it's gossip, you're not talking to them. If it's care, you're saying it to them. That is a really big thing. If you are just doing ill-intentioned gossip, you will not say to their face. No one out there is hard to find, right? Thank you, internet. I have an inbox. If anyone has something nasty to say to me, it's info@NicoleWalters.com. You can use my full name. It's spelled Nicole, no H, and you can send it right to me. And then I can respond accordingly. If you have a question about anything, again, I'm not hard to find. It's info@NicoleWalters.com, and it's spelled Nicole, no H, Nicole. It will get to me guaranteed. And if I feel like answering, I can answer, and I could answer it here publicly, but I'm not hard to find. So if for some reason someone isn't bringing it to me, then you have to examine why that is. If there's a concern about me or my children or my health or my well-being, please, God, let me know, right? Don't let my kids continue to be injured if you think that's a concern. Don't let my health continue to be at risk. If there's something that you're worried about, if you have concerns or curiosities, don't sit in curiosity, go to them. Just like celebrities have agents. Hit up those agents. If you have a thought about their plastic surgery or you think Beyonce used a surrogate, her agent and her PR people are public. Shoot them an email and say, hey, Beyonce, I think your stomach is fake and you used a surrogate, and I'm concerned about that. And fully receive the outcomes of that email. Otherwise, stay out the comments because that then is about you and not her, right? So, I just want to take up for the people who believe that just because you share something publicly, you deserve to be treated or spoken to any type of way. That's not the case, and if you're witnessing that and that's keeping you from exploring your fullest self, understand that people who do that, that is their intent. They don't want you to be great. They don't want you to be out there with your messaging, because if you are out there and you are doing good, then you're going to push the world towards good. And that is where we really want to be. So friends, I just want to let you know that I will still be in my DMs. And I will still be in my comments, and I will still be responding to people both good and negative. But I also want to let you know that I am approaching it a little differently. My tolerance level's gone down. Call it 40, call it postpartum, call it just responding to the times that we're in. And I encourage you to be the same. Call out and, evil to its face and, speak truth to power. And don't let people take any type of ownership over your messaging, because ultimately, when you're out there sharing your wins, your losses, and your story out loud, God is the one that gets glory when people get to see you triumph publicly. So don't rob him of that either.